Star Trek from Sega.
Yes?
I have a petition here to stop the Space Channel from showing so much Star Trek. Could I please get your signature?
What show?
Star Trek. Look at the space schedule here. Star Trek the original, Star Trek the Next Generation, Star Trek Deep Space Nine, and Star Trek Voyager. It's gotta stop, and will you please sign my petition?
Well, I still don't know what you're talking about, but I'll get my son to sign for you. Gary, get up here, dear. He lives in the basement. Such a nice boy.
Butak!
The good, the bad, and the ugly show.
Hello and welcome back to The Good, the Bad and the Ugly Show. So today we're taking a look at some weird Star Trek stuff. Well, some quite strange things and a few bits and bobs that I've managed to acquire over the years. So I'm not a toy collector, I'm not really a massive collector of anything, I just like what I like, I get bits and bobs from here and there. Star Trek stuff though just seems to fall into my lap, and some of it is pretty odd, I've got to admit. So I'm making this video just to showcase a bunch of random Star Trek things that I've acquired. So yeah, let's get into it. Whenever you're ready, guys. So, weird Star Trek stuff. Right, I don't really know where to begin this video. Got a lot of it here, quite a lot of it. So, I thought we'll begin with like the first series, the very first thing that ever happened, Star Trek-wise, which was an episode called The Cage. It was the pilot that never made it past the viewing process. They had to reshoot it and rewrite it and make a new pilot and then change all the actors up. Obviously, Pike was the captain in the first episode. He got replaced by Kirk. Everyone knows who Pike is now because of the new Star Trek series, which is pretty good actually. I saw the first episode the other day. It's alright. Anyhow, it's one of the aliens from that first one called Telosian. I don't know if I'm spelling it, if I'm pronouncing it right. I like the episode. It's pretty good. They're like sort of telepathic, because that's a word. Look at him there in all his glory. Isn't he beautiful? You put him on your shelf next to your finest china.
What, have you lost all your sense of reality?
So yeah, the deal with this. This is obviously made by Playmates. They made a bunch of Next Generation figures to begin with. That was their thing, and they decided to go and make a lot of big figures, kind of based on the original Mego idea. Very similar to that. Yeah, I won't bore you with all the details. This video's already boring enough. So yeah, here he is. He looks beautiful though. Let's have a look. Open him up. He's got a big Star Trek like badge thing to stand on. He doesn't come out of his box. The box is looking a bit beat up now though. Yeah, I got this like a weird figure bundle deal where you go on eBay and you buy a bunch of stuff and you have to buy all this other stuff that comes with it, and this came with it.
Fascinating.
And yeah, I like it. It's weird. I like it. It's not like a figure. I can't imagine kids playing with this. It's more of a collector thing, probably. So we'll move on now. So there's that. Isn't that interesting? We'll move on to a bunch of Mego stuff. So when Star Trek first came out, it didn't have much competition really, the usual stuff. But there were annuals, there were pop-up books, there was a bunch of like stuff like toys, things that beeped, stupid helmets that had nothing to do with the show. Random figures loosely connected, old toys that were repainted and rebranded as Star Trek stuff. Yeah, and then Mego had the toys, the 8-inch figures.
Mego presents the Star Trek action figures featuring the crew of the Enterprise. Captain James T. Kirk, their fearless leader. Dr. Bones McCoy, caring for the health of the Enterprise crew. Scotty, the chief engineer, in charge of the transporter room. Mr. Spock, the Vulcan, second in command. And the Klingon, enemy of the Star Trek crew.
They were really cool. I like those. And then Star Wars came out in 1977 and became their like biggest competition. So yeah, so Star Trek, they decided to make a film to try and rival Star Wars. It didn't really work. It did well at the cinema box office. did terrible after that, and the merchandise kind of failed, and there's the whole decline of Mego and all that stuff, but I won't get into that now, because we've done all that in another video, but I thought it'd be nice to bundle all the Star Trek stuff into one. Now, there has been some really weird Star Trek shit that came out. I haven't got it, sadly. One thing I would really like to get my hands hold of is the this weird Kirk Halloween costume. Yeah, have a look at that. That's scarier than Michael Myers, right? Because obviously Michael Myers mask, yeah, that was a Captain Kirk mask. That was a Captain Kirk mask that was, you know, modified, painted white. We've gone into this before. Everyone knows about it anyway. But yeah, here's some Mego figures. One of the weirdest things. Hello. Yeah, this guy here. So he's a bit kind of worn. He's a bit beat up. He's got a really cool head. We'll get him into kind of more of a longer shot there. Yep, he's wearing these trousers and these nice brown boots. Yeah, he's a very odd figure. I don't really understand him. On the back of him, it says, we can open this without destroying it. It says, we can read this, Mego 1977. So this body, or this toy was made couple of years before the motion picture came out, and there are pictures of this guy in the production. He was going to be quite a big character, like a big part of the they were like a colony of aliens that became part of Starfleet, and they were going to feature in the film quite heavily, I think, and they were just completely taken out. So the costumes were made, and one was used in one scene that was cut out of the theatrical release. So here's a figure, straight away, an alien, a baddie, or goodie actually, an alien though, who's not in the bloody film, so completely sort of pointless really. It's weird bringing out an action figure for a film that's coming up, and he's not in the film. But there we go. I mean, this happened again, I think, with the Star Wars Force Awakens. I think there's a figure in that wasn't even featured or something. I don't know, I'm not, I don't know, clever enough to know this stuff. But, yeah. He's cool, isn't he? I like his face. The figures, though, he's got a touch of the grey head. So Mego had this thing where, like, a lot of the figure sculpts around this time, their heads all went, like, grey, like a sort of zombie thing. Yeah, it's a bit of a problem, but as they get older, I don't know, they stay grey, I guess. But, yeah, he looks like a zombie, doesn't he? He's pretty scary. But we featured him before, as I say. We'll put him down here, in the middle there. He looks dead. Right, next one we bring out. He is like the star of the show. It is, of course, Mr. Spock.
Fascinating.
Not Dr. Spock. That's a different guy. But yeah, Spock. So, he's got a phaser. He's still got his original phaser. I'll put him to one side. Distracting. He is, he's grey a bit again. He's not as grey as the other one. He's doing okay. He's got, all his original gear on. Hold him back this way. He's missing his little belt buckle thing, and I think that's it. I think otherwise he's intact. I think they had a little, probably a little bag he came with, a bag of tools. Is that another 1977? Yeah, so another one that was made a couple of years before. I think all these were made before. It's a weird thing. I don't understand it, but I think it's a cool action figure. It's like a, you know, if you want to go, you know, play Star Trek with your action men, this is a cool thing. They kind of slip in nicely with those. Yeah, I think it's pretty cool. It's Mr. Spock. What can you say? Weird looking though, isn't he? Next we'll move on to one of my favourites. Like, this is the Klingon.
I do not deserve to live.
Fine, I'll kill you later.
He's sort of yellowed, his head's a bit grey again. Yeah, it's weird looking, isn't it? But I love his outfit. He's got the belt as well, and his little plastic bit here, spiny bit as well. Most importantly though is his Klingon shoes, the weird like turn-uppy shoes. Yeah, cool gear. I like this one a lot. This is a really cool figure, and really hard to get, I believe, in England anyway. I don't know. In America, I think Mego is easier to get hold of because there was a lot more of it. It was in all the shops. I think in England, most of this stuff was kind of imported. I don't think we really saw that much of it. A lot of it was taken on by Palitoy. But yeah, I didn't see a lot of it. There's not a lot of Mego in the charity shops. Let's put it that way. And if there is, it goes for loads and loads of money. These all kind of cost about anywhere between sort of 30 and 200 quid in this country. Yeah, they can go for a lot of money. But I know, I found them quite cheap on eBay, which is good. which is the whole point in eBay, right? But yeah, he's a Klingon, man, and he looks quite good. Like his eyebrows.
Klingon bastard, you killed my son. Klingon bastard.
Next, we'll move on to this one. Is pretty cool. It's the fact that she is boxed still. So here we go. Yeah, this is the bald chick. Elia. Yeah, I'm sure it's Elia. I don't know. I've seen the film 100 times. I can never remember her name. But yeah, it's I love the box work. The artwork is brilliant on this. Absolutely fantastic. Love it. But yeah, it's still boxed. Has got to count for something. It's still got all of its accessories in there. Yeah, I won't get it all out, but I can promise you it has. Even the shoes, man. Weird thing about this toy is the neck is really, really small. It's got a weird kind of like sort of Barbiness or Cindy. I don't know what it is. It's got a weird kind of dullness about it. Not quite the same as the other figures. It's still cool though. This is a foreign thing. I can't read the language there on that. But yeah, it's a foreign thing. Obviously an import from somewhere. I like the back as well. The back, you can collect Kirk, Spock. There she is again, Elia. The Klingon's there as well. He's actually got quite a good likeness, I think, for his character there. Yeah, that's pretty good, isn't it? Pretty good. But yeah, and here's that guy again as well. You see, he does look like that. You know, he looks actually greyer in the picture. But yeah, so there's are these supposed to be like the 6 main characters of Star Trek? You know, where's Bones, where's Scotty, and who the fuck is this guy? Yeah, so a bit thwarted, you might say. He's still got his original. This originally cost £1.50. I wish it cost me £1.50, I'll tell you that. But yeah, so yeah, a bit thwart is the word, I believe. I might be making words up again. But yeah, it didn't really work out, Star Trek the Motion Picture. It wasn't really big. It's got kind of a cult following now, but I think the Star Trek fans still sort of hate it.
This ship is off course.
So we move on to little figures. They made a bunch of little figures as well to go with this. Trying to compete with Star Wars, probably. Yeah, so you've got Spock and Kirk. They're really cool figures, actually. We're doing them like one by one. So Spock really looks good. Actually, that's a really good sculpt of Spock's head. I'll say really good one more time. Yeah, he looks kind of like he does in the film. Not quite the right outfit, but almost.
Fascinating.
And Kirk looks like Kirk from the motion picture.
I'm Captain Kirk!
It's a really good face sculpt again. In fact, all of the faces on these figures... He's going a bit bald. All the faces on these figures look really good. They look just like who they're supposed to be. I think so, anyway. He spilt some gravy down his front. Sloppy. But yeah, the Scotty and the Bones look really good as well. If you also want to collect the baddies from this line, the little line, like the Klingon and what stuff, fucking forget it. They could cost about 200 to 300 quid. Seriously, they're like gold dust. You can't find them anywhere. But yeah, the main guys, you can kind of pick them up fairly cheap. You can get Spock for a couple of quid, actually. Kirk might set you back, I don't know, anywhere between a £5 and a £10. I don't know why I'm doing prices on this video. Anyway, we go up to their game. Years and years and years later, they came back, and they came back with a vengeance. Here is Spock from the Wrath of Khan, and yeah, I love that. That is a cool figure. That is very, very, very good. He's got his phaser and his little, I don't know, walkie-talkie. But he's got his hand in the Vulcan, you know, the Vulcan, what do you call it? The hello. The Vulcan hello. And yeah, all his suit's good. Stripe down there. Any Star Trek fans watching who want to give me abuse for like getting all the names and stuff wrong and all that, then you know, I'll leave the comments off or something. Yeah, but look at his belt's kind of cool. It's great. It's a great Spock. I love this line. And you know, it wouldn't be Wrath of Khan without the man himself. He's kind of cool. It's not 100% right, but it looks like what Mego would have made at the time if they had been still making 8-inch action figures when the Wrath of Khan came out, if that makes sense. But he's a cool figure to go on your shelf. You want him and Kirk, really, and you got it, you know, he's got his chest and all that. Looks like Khan. the baddie from the Naked Gun. Yeah, it's pretty good. It's pretty good. Star Trek 3: The Search for Spock. Okay, so yeah, made by Ertl. This is quite beat up, but I managed to get hold of it, which is the main thing, because in America you could get these. In England, you couldn't get these anywhere. It just wasn't a thing. So this is a figure of Scotty, similar to the Mego ones in kind of size and detail and stuff. The heads are very similar. The bodies are like G.I. Joes. They're far more articulated, and they come with oversized phasers. On the back I love, because it's like a sort of cartoon. Like, that's just so like, it's kind of cute, isn't it? Collect them all, and they only made Kirk, Spock, Scotty, and Christopher Lloyd's Klingon, but he came with the Klingon dog as well, which is really cool. And there were die-cast models of the Enterprise and stuff, which I'll show you one of in a minute. Yeah, so Search for Spock, they made some figures. I bet no one knows that. So basically what happened is, I've gone through this before, but motion picture, they made figures, they did really bad, the film did really badly. They made no figures for Wrath of Khan. They made figures for Search for Spock because Wrath of Khan did well. Search for Spock did badly, no figures for number 4. They made figures for number 5. So there we go. But yeah, I wish I could find the others. I mean, I'd have a tough time doing it, but one day I'll find some more of these and we'll make another video and I'll show them off and say, look at these. Cool, aren't they? It's a DVD set that came out. I haven't got the out case, but there you go. Series 1. This is before they remastered it and stuck like new bits of like the ship and stuff in there. Just thought I'd get that. I got that anyway. And also here is a rare promotional cinema thingamajig that tells you all about the really boring details of the Search for Spock. Yeah, this is a thing that I was given, and now I'm sharing it with you. And we have the storybook. So yeah, used to get cassette tapes would come with these books, and it would be the entire film re-recorded by some of the cast as a storybook form. And I have a little book, and when you get to the end of the page, the tape would go beep, and you would turn the page or whatever. These were really cool things. I had a whole bunch of these as a kid growing up. It's just something that doesn't exist anymore. They used to exist. They did Star Wars and E.T. and Gremlins. They're really cool. Yeah, look at that. Isn't that awesome? They weren't just cassette tapes. They had like vinyl versions as well. I want to get all of these and listen to them. I used to have this one, the tape of this. Obviously the tape is long gone, but the book survives. And as we're on books, they also brought out, not too long ago, Star Trek photo albums. So here we go. It's got like a little ribbon in it as well. You can keep all your treasured photos in this. I'd like to tell you right now that my wedding photos are in here. Kirk's like, what the fuck is going on here? Yeah, we've like stuck our Elvis Vegas wedding photos in our Star Trek. Look at his face. He's dreaming about it. In our Star Trek photo album. Isn't that fun? Yeah, that's something you do, right? That's something any normal person, rational normal person would do, isn't it? Of course. So, video CDs used to be a thing. Before DVDs, Philips brought out this console that was a computer gaming console. You could also play CDs, and there'd be like they'd have like images and stuff on them, and DVDs basically. So yeah, so the film, you get the film, you turn it over halfway through. The quality is kind of like a video, but without the lines. Got a little book in there. I mean, they were alright actually. You know, technology was advancing. They weren't as big as Laserdiscs. They weren't as good as DVDs, but they existed. And here is one. And it is, of course, arguably one of the best Star Trek films, The Voyage Home. Which I absolutely love. I don't care what anyone says. It's a great film. This film you can show people who don't like Star Trek, and they'll probably still enjoy it. There you go. But what happened after Star Trek 4 was Star Trek 5, which ain't so great. So now we'll move on to Star Trek 5, which is, I've got a die-cast model here of the Enterprise, made again by Ertl. So this Enterprise, I think, started out in the late 70s, even before the motion picture, and what they've done is they've kind of remodeled it slightly and repainted it and repackaged it for each Star Trek film that came out ever since. And this might be the last one, or they might have done it for number 6, I don't know, but it looked quite good by this point. But yeah, that's the Enterprise for you, if you want the Enterprise. And they also made the Klingon Bird of Prey, and there's a few other ones as well, but yeah, it's a cool thing, isn't it? I mean, it's a thing, it's definitely a thing. It's Spock's brother, isn't it? That guy who's in Star Trek 4. They made these... Star Trek 5, sorry. They made these toys to go out... Well, these models to go out with Star Trek 5. I'm not really sure why. The film did really badly. These didn't do well either. They're made by the mighty Galoob. So Galoob are busy making the Next Generation figures at this point. So they made a bunch of Star Trek 5 figures because that film came out after the Next Generation had started out. So they thought they could capitalise on that. Look at him, he looked cool. But yeah, no one liked him. No one really liked the film. The film did really badly. The end. So now, I guess, that is Star Trek, the original series, done. We'll move on to the Next Generation, because they did carry it on. And we'll begin with the first man to appear in the Next Generation. Well, the first baddie. Or first, I don't know, foe, whatever. Here is Q. Now, I like Q. I like you. I like you a lot. Yeah, he's cool. He's got his sort of mayor necklace thing on. He's got good articulation. I like his gown. He's a cool figure, man. I mean, you can't fault it. It's a good figure of Q. He looks great on the shelf as well. This is another recent Mego thing. They've kind of come back and they're making cool figures again. Yeah, he's alright. He's a very dangerous man, is Q, as we know.
Morning, darling.
But yeah, it's a cool figure. I've said it 5 times, I'll say it again. He's cool, look at him, look at his face. Now we move on to the first line of the Next Generation figures. Yeah, so we'll start with Captain Picard. So yeah, they made figures of the Next Generation. They had phasers stuck on their hands, their knees bent, and their arms didn't. I think they're alright. I mean, they look quite good. They're no worse than the, well, once again, I mean, they're the same size. You can interact with Kirk and stuff, which is cool, you know. They're like, and also Star Wars. You can make Star Wars meet Star Trek. You play with these.
Shut up, Wesley.
Who else do we have? Loose. We have Geordie LaForge. I always thought they missed a trick. He should have been Geordie. He should be like, "Wait, hey man," but they didn't do that. Yeah, his visors don't come off because they don't. His visors didn't come off the later figures, but yet we still pulled them off to reveal his terrifying white eyes underneath. But yeah, that's the thing. Yeah, so then you lost the visor, so then you couldn't. So then you just had him with white eyes, and yeah, I don't know. These were made in 1987, I believe. Again, we also have Worf. Worf's a cool figure. I always wanted this when I was a kid. I didn't have this when I was a teenager. Sorry, I didn't mean that.
I didn't mean it. I didn't mean it. I said I didn't mean it.
When I was a child, that's right, a small young child, I did not have this toy, and I kind of wanted it because you know, it looks cool. They never made this right again. The Playmates version never looked quite right for the first series, but I don't know. Wolf's pretty cool, isn't he? So we've also got these. We'll shove them up there. We also have these packaged as well in various forms of condition. Here is Worf. He's in pretty good condition. The box is cool. I like that. It's spectacular. I used to see this in a toy collecting shop. I used to go in when I was a kid, and I used to marvel at it. Look at the back. It's got the other fellas. There they are. Collector coin tokens as well. You could get another thing if you sent those off. But yeah, that's Worf. He's alright. He's packaged quite well. Then we got Riker. Here's another one. Riker with no beard. A beardless Riker, which is what you want, innit? Not really. I don't know. Another package that's in quite good condition. There we go, that's a thing, isn't it? And we also have Data, who isn't in such good condition. He's a bit damaged. He's not, the box is. And this is the boring, like, actually looks like Data version of Data. So there are other versions of this. One where he had like a speckly face. Another one was like a weird sort of human colour. And this is the accurate one, which I don't want. I want the weird one. If anyone out there has a speckled face Data, please send it in and I will make a video about it. There we go. So now we will move on. I mean, there's so much Star Trek stuff here. We'll move on to some of the Playmate stuff now. Yeah. So Playmates, I found these in a charity shop a little while ago. Here is, this is Worf in like a special silver glistening outfit that he wore at some point in The Next Generation. These are quite good figures, they're quite well made. You know, I had these when I was a kid. They're alright. Here's another Worf. This is like the older Worf, I think, from the final episode or whatever it was. The All Good Things, I think this is that one. He's still got the cool spiky shoes. It's another good figure. These all cost like a couple of quid each, which is good. It's what you want. And I got a Ferengi as well. Now, yeah, Ferengis are pretty cool.
Arm phaser banks and photon torpedoes. If Roxana Troy is not in my arms in 10 seconds, throw everything you've got at the crater.
But you will destroy Loaxana.
When I have plucked the rose, I cannot give it vital growth again. It needs, must wither.
Well, they're not, but that's their point of them, isn't it? But yeah, I like his head. Look at that. He's a weird figure. His leg articulation is terrible. What the hell were they thinking with that? How the hell are you supposed to pose this thing? I never got this one when I was a kid because I just hated the way it was posed. It just... But I like it now, because I like things now of a weirder nature. And now we move on to, apparently this one's a bit of a rarity, or so I'm told. This is a Generations figure, and now the thing that makes this a bit weird is it's got the original uniform. So this is what the uniforms were going to look like in the film, and then they were changed last minute by design, but they still made these toys because it was too late. But yeah, so that's Geordi LaForge from the film Generations. He's still got all his stuff. Box is quite good condition. Other ones you can get like Chekhov and Scotty and Kirk, who are the ones I kind of want to get. But yeah, you know, it's a thing, isn't it? It's a thing, and it's still boxed. And we have one last Star Trek thing now, going into territory that I don't really know much about. I'm a fan of the original series and the Next Generation, and that's about it. But this is First Contact, so it's still Next Generation, but this is one of the later films. I'm not so into those last three films. They don't really do it for me. But this is the one where they make contact with the Vulcans and like the Borgs are in there, and it's kind of like an action film, and yeah, stuff happens in it and things explode and all that. It's the one that came after Generations, which I love Generations because Generations is kind of stupid and I like that.
Captain.
But yeah, so here we go. That's like another figure there, another boxed figure. I never really know what to do with these. These kind of remain on the wall in my weird little toy cupboard because, I don't know, I haven't the heart to throw it in the bin. So there we go. There's some Star Trek stuff for you. I hope that did it for you. It certainly does it for me. And that's another video made. Please like, share, and subscribe to The Good, the Bad, and The Ugly Show.
Because there's no room left in hell.
Big news from Paramount?
No.
Yes.
Yes.
No. Yes.
No.
Yes. Star Trek IV, The Voyage Home, is now on video cassette for just $29.95. Available at video stores everywhere.
Hey, do you guys have any Star Trek V tapes left?
Where is the Star Trek V video?
You got Star Trek V, The Final Frontier?
Please. Any Star Trek Vs?
Ooh, thank you.
Great. Thanks.
Fabulous.
Yes. Oh, thank goodness.
Would you happen to have Star Trek V?
Yes, sir.
Star Trek V, The Final Frontier. So tell your dealer you want to see it.
Reverse thrust.
Hailing frequencies open.
Scotty, we need more power. I can't hold it much longer, Captain.
We're losing the Colonel's signal, sir.
Well, what was Spock's order? His usual, Captain. The two-piece combo. Okay, give me a two-piece combo.
Aye, sir.
No, wait. Make it 3 pieces. Leave them up, Scotty. Status report. report. Close call, Captain. Almost lost the coleslaw on that one.
Captain's log, stardate 2453.87. The crisis was averted. Our cravings satisfied. The chicken was excellent.
Take us out of here, Mr. Sulu. Warp Factor 2. Hey, who took my fries?
Science fiction classic that spans 28 years and 2 generations. One weekend that spans the past, present, and future of Star Trek. With 2 feature films, interviews with the cast and crew of the Starship Enterprise, and rare behind-the-scenes glimpses.
2 to beam up, Scotty. Live long and prosper.
All part of the Sci-Fi Channel's Trek Fest '94. July 9th and 10th.